Hi everyone, Coach Jasmine here with Glover Budgets Virtual Financial Coaching, and today we are continuing our Valentine's Day series where I just talk about stuff for couples. Today is for my engaged couples, and we're going to talk about last names. It's kind of controversial. I don't know why I do this when I say controversial, but here we are. Um, so I kept my last name, so I was born Jasmine Glover and I am still Jasmine Glover. I did not hyphenate, I did not change, whatever. This is not to shame anyone for any of the decisions you make. This is to save you some heartache. So, when you are deciding your last name, whatever you're going to do with it, if you're going to keep it, if you're going to hyphenate, if you're going to change to your spouse's name, have that conversation between you and your future spouse, and that is it. Keep the world out of that conversation, because they will invite themselves in and you just push back and you say, hey, it's my prerogative. My husband's last name is not Smith. I'm going to use Smith as an example because it is a very common last name. And so when we were engaged, everyone's like, are you ready to be Mrs. Smith? Are you ready to be Mrs. Smith? I'm like, no, I'm going to be Miss Glover. Well, why? And I kept explaining myself over and over and over and over and over again until someone saw how frustrated that made me and cared enough, a guy at that, cared enough to pull me aside and say, hey, Jasmine, you don't have to explain yourself to anyone. And so, and it goes the opposite way too. I've seen women who've run very successful businesses and they get married and they change their name and they don't hyphenate. They just go ahead and change their name to their husband's last name. Why'd you do that? What about your brand? What about, they're still the same person. They just changed their name. So, instead of inviting the world in, and I'll tell you in a minute what happened, just say, hey, my spouse and I, or my future spouse and I have discussed it. I'm going to, we have discussed it. We've come to an agreement and it's our prerogative. How are you doing today? Change the subject. Ooh, pass the mashed potato, whatever. And so the reason is because I decided to keep my last name, and it was because I like my last name. I have 2 degrees that I earned before I even met my spouse. And people were like, but your degrees don't matter. What matters is love. I wouldn't marry you. Blah, blah, blah. And I just got so offended. It really ruined some relationships or acquaintanceships. So just keep it to yourself. And the final nail in the coffin, which is kind of an oxymoron that I say this, I had already decided I was going to keep my last name, but then my dad passed away 5 months before we got married. So I was like, I'm going to honor my father. If we have kids, they can have your last name. I don't care. But as for me, I'm going to be a Glover. So just keep it to yourself. Say, do something say something nice or not, and move on. And that is it. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day.